Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Chicago Conservative, and we are back outside, guys. It's feeling nice and good today in the city of Chicago, and we're gonna be just asking people, how do they feel about Donald Trump being president right now? Is he doing good? Is he doing bad? We don't know, guys, but we know we're gonna get some libtards today. But like I said, guys, it's gonna be a very interesting video today, so stick around. Okay, so we got a nice gentleman here today. So how do you feel about Donald Trump being president?
I feel like Donald Trump should never been in office in the first place. 2016, 2024, 2030. He should never been in there.
Okay, so what did Trump do bad as far as his policy?
His policies is that I think what he doing with all this he doing now with Elon Musk and all that, they taking money from people to give it to the rich. So if I might add, I don't necessarily believe that to be true because, you know, Elon Musk, he's the head of Doge. That's the, Department of Government Efficiency. Right. And what they're doing is, what Elon's job is to cut $1 trillion out of the debt. Because, the country is $37 trillion in debt right now. Right. So when it comes to Elon Musk, all of the useless spending that he found, do you know all of the useless fundings that he's found when it comes to Doge? All of these people was looking at this stuff, like even when it come to $15 million to the Taliban for condoms and things like that, right? You giving $15 million to the Taliban for condoms. You're trying to start Sesame Street in the Middle East. What else were they doing? They were mutilating rats. They were trying to turn mice transgender. How do you feel about that? Well, I think that is waste, but I don't think that a lot of stuff that he said was waste. You're going to find waste anywhere in the government. But I'm just saying, to put people on the street with no jobs and say we're going to get rid of the Department of Education and all that.
How is Elon putting people on the street?
Because they ain't got a job.
How is that Elon's fault?
That's Elon's fault because Elon is not an elected official.
But his job is to cut government spending, though. And if I just may add, I honestly believe Elon is doing a very good job, even when it comes to him giving back to the economy with things like Tesla. People keep failing to realize that, Elon is an American now, and all of the money that, people buy from Tesla and things like that, that money stays in America, unlike these other people, that money goes to China and things like that. Right. And so what else do you feel that Trump has done that's bad?
I think that what Trump is doing right now with these tariffs is going to hurt this country, because and the fact that what you're doing is you putting these tariffs on these countries, particularly China, which I might agree with China because it may be imbalance there. But all these other countries, Mexico and Canada, come on, man, look. You putting these tariffs on these people, and the people, and see, a lot of people that's in this country don't understand how tariffs work.
So do you know how tariffs work?
I know how they work.
So let me just explain this to you. When it comes to China, do you know how long they've been ripping us off when it comes to tariffs?
Well, yeah, I can understand that. I didn't say.
So what's wrong? So what's wrong with us not getting ripped off? Because you do know that was one of Trump's biggest policy, is to put tariffs on countries like China and Mexico. Because you do know that China is the #1 supplier of fentanyl, and Mexico being their #1 buyer. And they're harming Americans when it comes to things like that, like the fentanyl that's crossing the border that Trump has closed down.
You know what I think about that? I think that you're going to have people that when they want something, America is a drug country, period. And the fentanyl and all the cocaine and everything.
But is that good, though?
It's not good.
Right, so I mean, it's not like you
stop that.
Right, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, can't we stop the fentanyl at least when it comes to hurting China? Now, even when it comes to tariffs, other countries, they don't really have to pay as much tariffs as much as we do, because they only pay on average 2.5% tariffs, and we pay on average 10% tariffs. Like, let's say when it comes to cars coming in, the American cars going into other countries, we have to pay 10% on that.
Let me say
but hold on, but like cars like Nissan and things like that, like cars that's not American made, that comes to America, they only have to pay 2.5% of that tariff. So why is that fair?
It's not fair because in America, the cars we make, a lot of them is throwaway cars as far as I'm concerned. The European people over there, they don't buy American cars, they buy their own cars. And then you got Americans over here that don't buy their own cars. So how you gonna change that?
But you just basically explained why tariffs isn't going to work on China's end, because you got to understand, America, we consume $20 trillion in revenue a year. So we're the biggest consumer in the world. So if America isn't going to buy it, who is?
Well, you got to make a better vehicle, bro. When I grew up in the 60s.
But I'm talking about just in general, though, like not just with cars, just in general, like we consume everything.
But we don't make nothing no more, bro. Back in the day, we used to make stuff. We don't make nothing.
But don't you think that's also good what Trump is doing? Because that also put jobs back into America to where we don't have to basically rely on other countries.
Well, this is what he's saying. Move all the countries that's not in America. A lot of the problems we have in America is not other countries. It's because we don't want to pay a wage that these people decide to take businesses out of this country. Trump,
I think we're paying more than anybody. You don't think so? I mean, we're paying most of the tariffs. I mean, even when you look at things like NATO, who's really paying any money when it comes to NATO? America pays most of the money when it comes to the weapons, when it comes to the men that have to secure all of the borders and protect all of those countries that's in NATO. We're spending all of the money. All of these other countries in NATO isn't spending money. What do you feel about that?
I feel that the United States is the wealthiest country on this planet, and we supposed to be the boss. So, I'm for, if you want to pay your fair share and all that, but we should be leading. I don't care about Trump saying, I want them to pay more money. Okay, you want them to pay more money, but in the fact that you isolating us from the rest of the world.
I mean, I would disagree, because over 75 plus countries have wanted to do, over 75 plus countries want to do deals with Donald Trump when it comes to tariffs. They want to negotiate with him. And the only ones, I believe the only country that didn't get a tariff pause was China. So
how come Russia don't have a tariff on them?
That I don't know.
How come North Korea don't have a tariff on them?
I mean, you got to understand, the people who want to do the deals with Donald Trump, they're trying to replace China. We got countries like South Korea, countries like Japan, they're ready to step up.
Yeah, but you got how many Chinese in the world? About 1 billion, right? You ain't gonna replace them.
I mean, that's why I was saying it's over 75 plus countries that are willing to do manufacturing for Americans.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Mm-hmm. What is it in the world that the United States make that the rest of, we don't make coffee, we don't sell bananas, when they put it.
But we buy it though, that's the thing, we buy it.
No, we buying it, but what is it in the rest of the world that the people in the rest of the world want from this country? What do they want?
I just feel like it's just gonna be the biggest manufacturer versus the biggest consumer, if that makes sense, which would be China versus America, because I know China make a lot of things. Everything comes from China. Right. But you got to think about who's buying the stuff. That would be Americans.
But it's not going to be. See, this is the problem I got with this country right here. The same way, and it's not fair to the workers in this country when you can take businesses overseas, wherever they may be, and pay cheap labor, and the same labor that you paying for over there, you're not going to pay these people over here what they should get.
But that's kind of what Trump wants us to do, though, when it comes to that. Hey man, look, he's trying to put manufacturing jobs back in America.
Let me tell you this much. How long do you think that to even build a plan over here for these people to come back here, how many years you think that's gonna take?
Hey, it's gonna take. Look, Rome wasn't built in one day. Yeah. But I know.
But you got businesses right now with these tariffs going out of business, man. They can't pay the tariffs.
I mean, I've seen the stock market lately, and it's been all green. But like I said earlier, we got over 75 plus countries that's willing to replace China when it comes to the tariffs. China is, we have a 145% tariff on China right now. And I honestly believe that they're going to break.
I don't think they're going to break. I think we're going to break.
We'll see, man.
I think we're going to break.
All right, man. Thanks for.
Let me ask you.
All right, we got a bright young man right here, man. And tell me how you feel about Donald Trump, bro.
I really feel like Trump really helped the black community. He did a lot for us. I feel like Joe Biden kind of screwed us over, helping the immigrants out instead of helping us out, not giving back to our communities, and we already been here for real.
Yep, absolutely, man. And then a lot of people fail to realize that Trump was actually releasing black people from jail with the First Step Act, while Kamala was actually locking us up during the election. But even when it comes to Joe Biden and how he had the border wide open, and when it comes down to Trump keeping the border closed, who you think is doing a better job with the border?
I feel like Trump really got it under control pretty quick too. All the people that he been deporting and stuff like that, he really got all the immigrant problem really down pretty fast. I was really shocked that how quickly he did it for real.
Yeah, because you want to know what's crazy? Kamala Harris was actually the border czar before Tom Homan, right? That the one we got right now. So shout out Tom Homan. But yeah, Kamala Harris, she actually is the reason why all of these illegals was here in the first place.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yes, sir, man. But thank you for your time, bro. Appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we had to move it to 79th, guys. Now we are at the Regal Theater, and we're still going to get some opinions about Donald Trump and how he's doing as president, guys. But it is very, very lovely over here, guys. And I think we got Chicago Flip Red over here right now. So we're going to get their opinions as well. So stay tuned, guys. Yep. Okay, guys, so we have a lovely lady here today. Do you mind introducing yourself?
I'm Nicole Coco Patrice.
Nicole Coco. Okay, so how do you feel about Donald Trump being president right now? Is he doing good? Is he doing bad?
Actually, I think he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing because as far as the black community, we put a lot of blame on certain figures that are easy to blame or easy to look up to, and we have this messiah complex, like we victimize ourselves a lot. And so I feel like Donald Trump is making it pretty obvious that Democrats don't really do what they are supposed to be doing when they do have the power, because he goes in and does what he wants to do, and they panicking right now. But what are y'all doing to actually make things better so people don't have to feel like they have to vote for Donald Trump? So
yeah. And then you bring up a great point about the Democrats, because that's why they have a 19% approval rating as we speak right now, because they don't really have a policy plan. Now you got people like Jasmine Crockett, AOC, like, yeah, they can scream and yell all they want and all of these communist, socialist, Marxist ideologies, but at the end of the day, what is that really doing for the people of America? So you bring up a great point. And one last thing, if anybody can run in 2028, who would you consider running for 2028?
Definitely not J.B. Pritzker. I can say who I don't want to see. I don't.
That's right.
Jasmine Crockett, I don't want to see J.B. Pritzker. I know they got AOC out there, running. Republicans really need to come up with a strong candidate, because honestly, it's so many people leaving the Democratic Party because they see like the violence and the chaos that they are causing intentionally on Americans, and it's not really the party of tolerance like they claim to be. So if a strong Republican or independent candidate came out, they really got the whole floor open to them.
Absolutely. Hey, you cook.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Is it Nicole Coco?
Nicole Coco Patrice.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day. So, ladies and gentlemen, I bumped into a big supporter of the channel, guys. We got the Truth in the building today.
Hey.
How's it going, Truth?
Not bad at all. Just out here to support Chicago Flippin' Red.
Yes, ma'am, man. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate all my subscribers, stuff like that. So I love you guys so much. It's good to finally see you guys in person. But, clearly you have good opinions about Donald Trump, but let's hear your opinions about Donald Trump. How do you feel he's doing as president? Is he doing good? Is he doing bad?
I thank God every day for Donald Trump. He's turning things around, and he's turning around in our favor. They may say a lot of things about Donald Trump, but I've only ever voted Democrat. And I don't like how I've been treated by the Democratic Party. So I say it's time to give another party a chance.
Yeah, and then, like I was just telling another young lady earlier, we've been voting Democrat for over 60 plus years. They've never really done anything for us. And as far as Chicago being so corrupt in general, we don't really have a shot. But then we do have the power when it comes to the voting power. We just have to flip some people, let them know, like, the Republican Party, the party of lower taxes, we're the party of lower crime, we're the party of capitalism, basically, because you got to understand the Democrats, they love telling people, we're going to give you free this, we're going to give you free that, and this, that, and people just have to understand nothing in this world is free. And this is the lie that the Democrats have been telling us for years now. Yeah.
So I've been voting Democrat since 1993. Not only do I vote Democrat, but I actually work for the Democrats. I work for the Chicago Board of Elections. And I have been since 2000 as an election judge, as a deputy registrar. I've campaigned for every Democrat in the state of Illinois. So, it's not that my faith is in another party. That's not the issue at all. My whole thing is general purposes. They owe us something, and it's time for to hold them accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like with the DOJ that Trump has right now in the Trump cabin, I feel like they're going to hold them accountable when it comes to Pam Bundy, Cash Patel. They're a little iffy when it comes to the Jeffrey Epstein list, but other than that, they're going to definitely hold these people accountable, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm absolutely looking forward to it. That's what I voted for. Yeah. I want to see them all being held accountable, from Danny Davis to LaShawn Ford to J.B. Pritzker. Every Democrat I've ever voted for, I want them investigated, and I also want the Department of Children and Family Services investigated.
Yeah, see, you want it. And how do you feel about Brandon Johnson? What you got to say about Brandon Johnson?
I campaigned for Brandon Johnson. I voted for Brandon Johnson. The things I've done for Brandon Johnson, just in general, in the community, I'm absolutely disappointed. I regret my vote every single day. I see that he is not for Chicago people. It was Chicago. We held him down. I set up Kenwood Academy for Brandon Johnson. I set up the parking lot against Paul Vallis for Brandon Johnson. The things I've done. And for him to get in, see, he ran off of the hood. He ran off of the hood. It was the hood that got Brandon Johnson in. And once he got in, he didn't know us anymore. He didn't know us.
That's absolutely crazy. I hope Brandon Johnson see this. You suck, by the way.
Absolutely. I ran into Brandon Johnson on Madison, and he spoke to me as if I was trash beneath his feet.
That's unbelievable. And this just goes to show you how the Democrats treat us. We give them our vote, and they treat us like garbage. We help them campaign, and they treat us like garbage. We pay our taxes, and they treat us like absolute garbage. And even Joe Biden himself called us garbage, guys. So this is what the Democrats really think about us. So thank you for that. I really hope Brandon Johnson see this.
Most definitely. I hope he see it too. But I've already told Brandon Johnson in person, he know what time it is with me. He knows what time it is. All I say is Chicago flip red all day, every day.
I know that's right. Thank you, Truth.
So it's very important, my rights as a woman. Trying to take something away that was given to us by God. Trying to control what we do with our body. That's something you can't take away, just like you can't take away our skin color. So when they always being racist to us because the color of our skin, that's almost saying you can't be a woman when you was born that way already.
Okay, this is a simple yes or no to the both of y'all. Do you think trans women should have rights as biological women?
No, I don't think
so. Do you think it's important that you are, I'm assuming y'all are a couple, so is it very important that you all should have rights to bear arms?
Yes.
Okay. How much do y'all know about gun rights?
I know a little.
Fair. So I'm a gun owner, so yeah, I would say a fair amount.
So you know the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah.
Very well.
Yep.
Good. Okay, so it's important for you. It's not like abortion rights are women's rights. Gun rights are more important for women as well, against local criminal and the illegal as well. So it's important for him to not only protect you, but what if he's not there for you, but also you can protect yours and your children as well. So when Papa Bear not around, Mama Bear has got to be there. So it's very important that you learn how to gun safety and get your gun. Okay, if you want to talk to me, I'm your man. Okay? All right.
What's going on, big homie? Hey. How's it going, brother? Hey, yes, sir, man. So how do you feel about Donald Trump? How you feel like he's doing as president right now?
Right now, I haven't really set the stage to gauge whether he's doing good or not, more so than just being able to allow the process to take place. Because it's a process. We want to be quick to make a judgment, but where we are as a nation, and where we are as a global society, it didn't just happen yesterday. It didn't just happen in the last election. It didn't just happen in the past 4 years. It didn't happen the first Trump election, and it didn't happen the Obama term. And so a lot of times we could get tricked and get emotional, about personality, and the personality is just now on the scene. However, the legislation has already been in place that got us to the stage where we are today.
So let me ask you a question. When it comes to the economy, who do you feel does a better job as far as lowering inflation, lowering taxes? Would that be Joe Biden and the Democrats or Donald Trump and the Republicans?
I believe that the leadership that's in place now, it can't carry your name. Joe Biden and the Democrats, Donald Trump and the Republicans. I believe that on both sides of the aisle, we have leadership that know exactly what's necessary to get the country to the next level. And so those components have to come together so that we could be great, whether they Democrat or Republican. So I haven't put myself in a position to gauge who is better, because it is good and bad on both sides of the aisle. And then you got
some rhinos, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. One last question. When it comes to foreign policies like the wars, when it comes to Russia and Ukraine, Hamas and Israel, and Red Sea conflicts and things like that, who do you think will be a better leader as far as world peace? Would it be Donald Trump or Joe Biden, or preferably Kamala if she would have won? Who do you think will be better with that?
I think that out of any choice that we have, right? Well, actually, we have no choice right now. The choice has already been set, which now Donald Trump is in office,
right.
And so we have to trust that the person that's the current president is allowing himself to be put in the best position to be able to negotiate the necessary pieces between nations.
Yeah.
And so right now he's in the seat. So we could say, if was a fifth, Kamala Harris didn't win. Joe Biden is no longer in office. Trump is in office now. And so we have to trust that the legislative government that's under him is wise enough to put together legislation that allows him to be able to govern and to negotiate in the seat that he's in now.
Okay, I just want to add a couple things, and you make like a lot of good points, but when it comes to foreign affairs, Donald Trump, he basically pushed a ceasefire when it comes to Israel and Hamas. So now I believe there is no more fighting with them as of right now. And when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, I believe there hasn't really been a lot of conflict, like as much as it has been during Joe Biden and his presidency, because during, when it came down to Zelensky, he came into the White House. You've seen how he was acting. He was acting very, very entitled. And Donald Trump had to tell him, you're not just about to come up in here and make demands. So when it comes to things like that, he won't fund Zelensky and things.
So when it comes to that, then you have to look at where did the conflict come from. And
that started under the Obama administration too. Yeah.
So I wouldn't punish Zelensky based off of that, because Zelensky and Ukraine is a sovereign nation, and so another nation invaded them, and they had no right to impede on the rights of a whole another nation. And so when he met with him, he had the right to stand toe to toe and say, hey, this is where we are, this is what we need. The United States has the right to say, we either gonna help you or not. Now that particular situation, I think that it may have went a little bit too far as it relates to our elected officials and the stance that they took.
Yeah, because Joe Biden was definitely funding Ukraine he was giving them billions upon billions of dollars, and you know that was causing our inflation, to skyrise. And then when it comes down to Donald Trump,
we can't allow Ukraine to be a talking point when it comes to the mismanagement of federal funds, because prior to that, it's so much outside of Ukraine that needs to, and that's not being.
That student loan debt, yeah, we got all type of stuff, man. Hey, thank you for your time, man. I like that, bro, for sure.
Hey, it's on the top.
Yes, sir. Can you please introduce yourself to the people of Chicago, to the people everywhere out there so they know who you are?
Sure, my name is James Mendrich. I'm the current DuPage County Sheriff, and I'm running for Illinois Governor.
Man, that sounds amazing, and we really do need a Republican governor, guys. So, just one question for you. How do you feel about Donald Trump and the DOJ and how they're doing right now, currently in office?
I think they're doing exactly what they need to be doing. It's the same thing Chicago needs. They need another forensics audit like the one that's going on in the federal level. I mean, I don't think it's too much to ask the government to show what they're spending your money on.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a real problem when we know that they're spending it on a lot of things that the citizens wouldn't approve of. You can start with the sanctuary state. The sanctuary state is a violation of federal law, what we're doing. And by violating the federal law, we've lost all our federal grants. We have paid $3 billion in costs to the citizens. They didn't even know there was an extra $1.6 billion in benefits for the illegal immigrants. I mean, these aren't little mistakes. These are economy crushers that by changing this one simple thing, we can get, a third of our economy back from a government that decides they're going to spend their money, our money, any way they want, and not even adhere to federal law.
Okay, so as a current potential runner for governor, so you're a sheriff. Do you believe that crime creates poverty in the cities or in the neighborhoods and stuff like that? Do you believe that crime creates poverty?
I think crime does create poverty, and poverty creates crime. I think that goes both ways. And the way we've tackled that at DuPage County, instead of just letting everybody go like the Safety Act would have us do it, before the Safety Act, we had these people and we could rehabilitate somebody actually in a relatively quick time duration. What we do is full detoxification. We have one-on-one psychiatric services. We have 200 courses taught by counselors, educators, and teachers that teach 80 courses per week. Anger management, criminal thinking, how to balance your checkbook, financial planning. We're getting people GEDs. We're noticing that a lot of people turn to crime because they can't get a regular job because they don't have a GED. So we crank out GEDs left and right. Then we do vocational training. Everything from welding, tiling, drywalling, indoor-outdoor horticulture, small engine repair. We take off gang tattoos and do gang desistance programs. Suits for Success, where you get suits so when you're doing your job interviews, you look good. And we help people get jobs within 2 to 3 weeks. A lot of them are getting $50,000, $60,000 a year at a job. And it's brought our recidivism rate down from 75 to 18%. And that's by helping a person gain purpose in a correctional facility. Not to just house them so you can get money out of them for having them do on a work farm or something silly like that. We're actually working to enhance the personality of the human being that we have in our facility. We're not a punitive institution. The punitive part is that you can't leave.
Right.
So it's our job to make you a complete person, be everything that you can be for when you're back out into society.
Hey, you sound like a very, very exceptional man, sir. You're spitting the gospel right now, and I just want to compliment you when it comes to creating jobs out here, when it comes to the state of Illinois, because like you said, a lot of people, they resort to crime because they can't get a job. And then they're being taught all of these communist ideologies. And me personally, I'm a capitalist. I believe that I should work for my dollar. And at this point, people feel like everything is owed to you nowadays. They feel like everything should be free this and free that. And that's just not how it's supposed to go. So and there are people out there that actually do want to work and, have a good paying job. But me personally, I think the way we do it is by promoting people to have their own businesses and things like that, so they won't feel like they have to depend on a 9 to 5. Not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but if you really want to create generational wealth, people have to at least know that if you're going to work a job, the least you can do is invest in something that you want to do in the future, like a business or something like that, And even when it comes to the gang violence and gang crime and stuff like that, like, people really need to hear that, because even that, like people resort to gangs when they can't find a job and stuff like that. And I feel like what you're doing is very, very great, man. And I really hope you win.
Thank you. And you know what? You hit one point. You said generational wealth. I just want to make a point here because that's part of the problem. Instead of helping people succeed, get jobs, create their own business, and do all that like what we do, what's going on in this state is the land grab. They're going for
rat race.
For our local people. They're trying to take their homes out here in Chicago through probate or eminent domain. They are taking businesses like this and moving them out of tax credit systems, not giving them TIF money even though they're a landmark. They're doing the same thing to agriculture, where they're doing the regressive estate tax. So when you sell your farm, the government gets a piece of your business when it goes and gets handed down. That's an attack directly on generational wealth. So statewide, they're trying to take all the common man's money in their businesses.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you making that point, man. Thank you so much, sir. So let the people know who you is, man. Introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, my name Fukuqua, financial advisor. Do things with real estate, and then we got to dibble and dabble in politics because we got to take care of our community.
Absolutely. So one question, man. How do you feel about Donald Trump as president right now? How do you feel like his cabinet and the DOJ is doing as far as the country?
So let me just say this. I gotta take my glasses off so you're good. We ain't even gave that man 100 days. Okay. Right away, anytime it's a Democratic Party, they say they benefited from the previous presidency. So Donald Trump didn't benefit from the stock market dropping or the egg prices rising when they killed off so many birds. I mean, you got to stop listening to CNN, Joy Reid, The View,
China News Network,
The View, things like that, and research the information for yourself. So he did exactly what we elected him to do. And we ain't even giving the man a chance. He ain't even been in office 100 days. But I like what he's doing so far. So what he's doing, and the Democrats are blocking it, he announced, and he said, to lower not tax the people on tips, also overtime. They passed that bill.
And a lot of people, I even asked this dude at my job, have you noticed your check, get increased? Because we do hella overtime at my job. And he like, oh, wow, I didn't even notice that. So it's like, these people don't even.
That's because what he was doing. So how is he for the rich if he's doing, because rich people don't work overtime.
Right.
Rich people don't get tips.
Absolutely.
So how is he for the rich if he's doing that? Now, is he gonna give rich people tax breaks? Without a doubt, because it's a trickle down effect. So, as if you own the, let's just flip it. What a lot of people don't like to do. I like to flip the scenario. If you own a business and I raise your tax, are you gonna take the hit or are you gonna raise your prices? You gonna raise your price.
Raise my prices up, yeah.
Exactly. So they keep talking about the tariffs, but also if you increase the tax on the rich, they're gonna pass it down to the little people.
You made a good point about that because Kamala Harris, I think she promised first-time homeowners or home buyers that they're gonna get an extra $50,000 or an extra $250,000.
Not at the purchase of your house.
Right, and then the thing is,
be on the back end.
There you go, and then all homeowners have to do is just raise the house by $250,000 or about $50,000 or wherever they're going to raise it by.
That wasn't going to work, and I'm in real estate, so that wasn't necessarily going to work. Right. There's so many what she was improvising or implementing is already in place.
Right.
There's so many home grants where you could get a home grant. A grant where you don't have to pay back.
There you go.
Or
not a loan, but a grant.
Right. Down payment assistance is where you have to pay back in some type of way or whatever, depending on the lender. So you might have to pay it back or it's forgivable after so many years. So what she was implementing is already in place. What Donald Trump is implementing, where you're going to get a grant.
Right.
Where you don't have to pay back by being a citizen. You're going to get all the money that they're saying that we're wasteful spending. You're going to get, that's tax-free money.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to claim it probably. But anyway, I'm not a CPA. Talk to your CPA. Talk to your CPA, not me. So, at the end of the day, any tax that's put on the rich is going to be passed down to you.
Right.
So, not only through tariffs, the tariffs is a short-term thing. that we're all going to benefit because at the end of the day, America is first, and people got to understand.
A lot of people don't understand. I'm glad you brought up the tariffs because a lot of people don't understand tariffs. I was debating this guy earlier, and he was saying how China is going to rip us off when it comes to tariffs and things like that.
China need us,
right? Exactly, because we consume $20 trillion when it comes to.
We're the biggest consumer.
There you go. But we gotta be honest with ourselves here. China is the number one manufacturer, but America is the number one consumer in the world because we consume over $20 trillion in revenue a year. So with that being said, is it really going to be a hurt on us or a hurt on them? Because Trump has already announced that over 75 plus countries, they're willing to replace China. We got Japan, we got South Korea, we got Italy.
Or countries that are closer to us where the cost will go down.
Or we can manufacture the jobs here and then keep the jobs here in America.
That's the whole perk of tariffs.
Right.
Tariffs was a bad thing. Then why so many countries had it on us?
And then I'm glad you brought that up too, because on average, we have to pay a 10% average on tariffs when it comes to other countries, but guess how much average they have to pay on us? Only 2.5%. And some of them pay nothing though.
And you see what Canada did.
Oh, Canada, we can own Canada if we want it though.
That's why he said you need to become the 51 first state. It was trolling, but at the same time, it was true. Right. And then I don't know what they call themselves, but one of them said it's going to be a harder hit than COVID was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But my thing about
this is what people don't realize. People depend on U.S. Yeah. We don't depend on them.
Absolutely.
And then we got to start making ourselves first. We grew up in the black community. Your mom told you to take care of home first.
Absolutely.
Then when you took care of home, everything was good, you made everything. Then you could look to your neighbor. And you can help your neighbor out.
Yeah.
After you help your neighbor out, then you look down the street and help somebody else. So when did it become we help everybody else and you see your neighbor homeless, sleeping under the viaduct, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know when that happened. But that's the problem.
And then you brought up a good point again, because a lot of people fail to realize that families create neighborhoods and neighborhoods create communities.
Exactly.
Now, something that Mr. Dennis actually taught me is that people don't call it the neighborhood no more. They only call it the hood now because people aren't being neighborly anymore. And that's a great point that he made, because you don't see the people, like you said, looking out for one another because their own home isn't even in order yet.
They go blame that on racism.
There you go, yeah.
So they go blame it on racism, and the father is not home. Well, you can't talk to me about racism. I mean, that's a whole nother thing.
I agree with you.
Does racism happen? No. I don't agree with racism exactly. It's more prejudice.
Than bigotry,
because we all prejudiced towards another group or something like that. That's not racism. Are you holding somebody up, somebody back? No, without a doubt. You have most opportunity, especially when we have how many aldermen? 20% of the aldermen control Chicago. How many? And we have a black mayor. DEI
fucking sucks.
All up and down. So you can't tell me that we don't have the opportunity, even if it's not allowed.
You remind me of Byron Donalds when he was debating Jasmine Crockett on was blacks better off during Jim Crow era or now?
We was better off during slavery.
Yeah. When it comes to the family structure though, guys, I just want to make that point. When it comes to the family structure, we were more united. Now, think about this. When it comes to single black moms, when it comes to the civil rights era, it was only 25% single mothers. Now that actually has flipped in 2025. Right. In the black community, when it comes to the black women, 75% of there's like 75% single mothers now in America as far as black women. That's absolutely diabolical.
Yeah, so I think the last stat, and I could be off a little bit, the last stat, only 1/4 of black women will ever be married. Ever be married. When back in the day, it used to be 3 times that amount.
And 80% of black women are obese. 4 out of 5 black women are obese in America.
Back in the day, all of them used to be in shape. You used to have some with some bad. Black women always used to have a little thing behind them or whatever. Yeah. But you know, at the end of the day, it goes back to the man being in the household the family structure, and we need to get back to that. What's the woman movement going on right now? The feminism or the boss woman movement. Right. It doesn't work. Because if it did work,
you will see.
Got all these kids. That's why we got the teen takeovers. Yeah. The teen takeovers is really because of the feminist movement. The black ain't no. Because you know what? What would a man say? You go sit your ass down.
There you go.
Or they go lock your ass up.
There you go.
So this is a reaction of the woman moving herself from the man.
Or you got a lot of beta males out here too. They don't have no control.
Going along with it, so they could get some things.
And I will honestly say the Carmelo Anthony kid's dad is a prime example of that. Because if you taught your son how to fight, he probably wouldn't have. First of all, why you got a knife to begin with?
That's why the father is a prime example to be in a household, because he could teach you those scenarios where the mother, and whatever mom say, go.
Yeah. And then a lot of women. Yeah, and then a lot of women. It's just a base take.
Say is, you need to beat his ass.
Yeah, for sure.
The father gonna say, no.
Chill out. But don't let him punk you though. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, you never go. But at the same time, a real man is somebody that can walk away.
That's true.
And that's what a father could bring, where the woman just looking like, no, he punked you.
You beat him up, yeah.
Well, a real man,
results of violence.
Walk away from the situation and go back to my family. Right. Go back to, so that's why fathers are needed.
Man, thanks for your time, bro. We might have to do a sit down pod, bro. We might have to do a little something, bro. For sure.
I'm here for whatever. So,
right,
you know
man.
what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Y'all keep doing what y'all doing.
Lovely lady here today.
Oh, thank you. My name is Linda Peters. I grew up in South Shore.
Okay, so how do you feel about Donald Trump right now and how he's doing as president? Do you think he's doing good, bad, in the middle?
Well, let's just say this. Biden made a mess of this country. And so Donald Trump is trying to solve and remedy and fix everything that Biden messed up. And let me tell you, there was a lot. He's just been there, 100 days?
Yeah.
And look how much he has done in 100 days to undo all the damage that Biden and his whole administration has done. And so I'm just going to talk about the illegal immigration that Biden allowed. Let's just understand the reason they did that was to get as many Democrat voters out of those illegal aliens as possible. It was not about helping people. It was about getting more power and increasing their power in Congress and in the White House. They wanted all the swing states to flip blue, and not only flip blue, but stay blue.
You're right. You bring up a good point when it comes to Joe Biden bringing the illegals here, turning them blue, because a lot of people don't know that 27 out of 50 states, they don't require a photo ID to vote. So that actually could have been a thing, but Trump, he made sure that it was too big to rig. But you actually bring up a good point about that, because we were talking earlier about the shelters and things like that. So when it comes to Brandon Johnson housing all these illegals over here in these shelters and them being in parks and abandoned warehouses and things like that in schools, how do you feel Trump can do, or what can he do better at when it comes to helping out Chicago, getting these illegals out?
Well, first I want to recognize the Regal Theater behind me that is basically dying, and it's basically deteriorating. And our mayor has done nothing to this historic theater in the black community, has done nothing. We have a black man, Jay over here, who you just interviewed, who has put millions of his own dollars. He's gotten investors to come together and invest in the regeneration and the beautiful restoration of this beautiful landmark building for the black community in South Shore. I don't see Mayor Johnson doing that. I don't see the governor certainly not doing that. I don't see our South Side alder people doing anything. So let's just recognize that. Now I'll talk about the shelters on the South Side, because I live in Hyde Park. And there's a shelter, at least 2 shelters next to my condo building that houses over 300 illegal migrants. Now they want to expand that to 750. Now this used to be a hotel that they illegally converted to a shelter during COVID, right? And so
of course.
Now they want to expand it, and they're going to say, well, we're going to house homeless Chicagoans, while at the same time, all these illegal migrants Now let's make sure we understand. The illegal migrants caused our homeless problem in Chicago to be out of control. That's what's causing our out of control homeless problem.
Absolutely.
So if we deported all of these illegal migrants, our homeless problem would be reduced.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear about that. These homeless shelters for the migrants were supposed to be temporary.
Yeah.
We were told that they were temporary, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now they're going to be permanent, and they're using our tax dollars to fund them. In the state legislature, they're going to vote end of May or June on a 2026 state budget that includes an increase to $90 million to fund one shelter next to my building. And by the way, the capacity in this building is only 280 people. They got 300 illegal migrants. Now they're going to increase it to 750. So you tell me why we should have Brandon Johnson as our mayor. And that's why we are starting our Recall the Mayor petition.
That's right.
Chicago Flips Red is getting 4,000 more signatures to put this on the ballot so that the Chicago voters can vote this mayor out.
Absolutely, yeah. Brandon Johnson, he's been prioritizing illegal immigrants ever since he's been voted in.
Yeah.
And we got to think about why he's been voted in because, that skin color and, the CTU as well, which is a conflict of interest, by the way, guys. I just want to point that out, that he's not supposed to be with the CTU while being the mayor. If Donald Trump could tell Tom Homan to get all of the illegals out of here in like a week or so, like as far as like even calling martial law, do you think he should do it?
Absolutely. Because it's like if someone breaks into your house, are you going to feed them, clothe them, educate their children, pay for their health care? Are you going to do that? And give up your home? Are you going to do that? No. They have no right to be here. We are for, let me get this very clear, we are for legal immigration.
That's right.
We support legal immigration. If you want to come through the door properly, come on in. But if you break down my door, I am going to call the police and they're going to take you away.
Or you should just practice your Second Amendment right. That's what I do, because when it comes to the police responses in Chicago, not really reliable. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate that. And we are also demanding an audit on Brandon Johnson's illegal spending in Chicago. So hopefully, we can get all the people out. Good luck on your petition for sure. And thank you again. All right, guys, so we got the founders of Chicago Flip Red here. We got Zoe Lee and Danielle Carter. Say what's up to the people, y'all.
What's up?
Hey, what's up? What's up, y'all?
Thank you guys for finally, all hands on deck for sure. But I think before we started, I believe somebody wanted to present you guys with a gift here.
Yes, I do. First of all, I just want to say I am so happy to finally be meeting the Chicago Conservative in person, talking on his channel. Hi, viewers. But what we're here today is for a big cause. And that is I would like to take the time to present Chicago Flips Red with a check. And I was watching one of their lives the other day where they were out protesting, and I heard Zoe say, I think she had like 500 people on her live, and she was like, if 500 people send me $1, I'd have like $500.
That is true, yeah.
And I was like, she's right. All it takes is $1 to try to support somebody. So, me believing in the cause or whatnot, I said, you know what I'll do? I said, I'll go ahead, because I'm a working class lady. I don't have money all falling out the trees or nothing like that. But I said, I said what I'll do is I'll go ahead and, support the cause. So I would like to present them with a $250 check.
Congratulations, guys.
I feel so good. I feel like I'm on Price is Right. I feel like I'm on Price is Right. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Man.
No, because, I see you guys all the time, needing Ubers, and you're showing up at places. You're doing the groundwork. You're meeting the people. You're meeting them at their level. So this is only right for me to do this. This is because I believe in this cause, and it just takes, one person to go out there and support a real cause that's actually making a real difference in Chicago. And these ladies are doing that.
You guys are doing a very, very great job. Which brings me to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about Donald Trump and his great performance when it comes to him being president. Well, I know you guys know he's probably doing a great job.
100 days will make it. He'll be in there 100 days, April 29th. And I think his first 100 days was great. It was exceptional, and even with his executive orders that he keeps doing and they keep trying to say is wrong, nah, he's doing exactly what the people want. Absolutely. What I voted for sure. Yeah. And I'm riding with Trump till the wheels fall off.
So Miss Carter here, she actually has been to a congressional hearing, guys, and she actually was a witness to, being site to all of the illegal immigrants here. She was basically cooking them when it comes to, demanding an audit on Brandon Johnson when it comes to the illegal spending that he's been doing on the illegals, on himself. So first, I just want to ask you, Danny, how do you feel?
I feel great. Thank you so much for this, because this is what helps us. And it's a little, this means a lot. This means everything. Because it's not how much you give, it's when you give when you don't have. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate this. Yes, thank you. Rashawn, thank you for having us on your channel, Rashawn. We thank you so much for supporting us too, Rashawn, because we're in this together. Absolutely. We're in this together, you all. We are all on the same page. We want the same thing. Yeah. We all want the same thing, and we want better for our community. We know we deserve better for our city, and everything that President Trump is doing, we voted for it and we love it. The media is trying to push this narrative that the Trump supporters we're regretting our votes or something like that. No, we love it. We love everything because Trump is doing everything that we mandated him to do. That's what he's doing, and we love it. To our president, we're so proud of you. You're doing everything that you said you was going to do, everything that the other presidents didn't have the balls to do. You're doing it. Thank you so much. We love you, President Trump, and we are going to flip Chicago red.
Absolutely.
And Illinois red. We are all on the same page. We got each other. We're all working together. So we're doing it, baby. Chicago.
Absolutely, guys. So, I just want to ask you guys one more thing, and it's about Brandon Johnson. So, there's been some people saying that he's already won re-election when it comes to the $830 million in cash bonds and things like that. So, I've been hearing a lot of people that say they're going to run for mayor and this like that. But do you guys honestly believe that Brandon Johnson is going to be re-elected?
Absolutely not.
It's going to be a lot of stealing. A lot of voting coming in, those ballots coming in with dead people.
No, but even the dead is not going to vote this time.
Yeah, not even dead folks.
Yeah, he has embarrassed Chicago. He has embarrassed his family. He has embarrassed that administration, his friends. No, there's people that are counting the days that when they can wake up and vote this man out of office.
Absolutely.
So wait a minute, what do you think if he get in? So you saying if they announce Brandon Johnson won, it's gonna be another January the 6th?
January 6th. I'm gonna be right up on the City Hall singing and walking like, man.
Ain't no way.
That's crazy.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, I ain't gonna really do it.
Yeah.
So Brandon Johnson absolutely cannot win re-election, guys.
Absolutely
So
not.
Well, nobody else, no other Democrat.
Yeah, absolutely not. No other Democrat, guys. So please encourage anybody that you know in Chicago to please vote red this time around, because their policies are just better. It's lower crime, lower inflation, lower taxes. This is just what we need in the city of Chicago. And common sense, the common sense party, guys, like Donald Trump said. This is what we voted for. And I'm looking forward to the next 4 years of Donald Trump. Looking forward to the next couple years in Chicago, see how we're going to flip, see how it's going to turn out, guys. But I think we can do it.
Imagine if we get a red Governor Pritzker, we get his job red, Mayor red. Could you imagine? And we have a president that's already willing to work with us. Could you imagine the things we can get done with Illinois and in Chicago if we had and
that Cook County Board President, Tony Preckwinkle.
Yeah, she gotta go. She gotta go.
You are out of
Could
there.
y'all imagine what we can do for this city and state if we had Republicans in office and Trump is working with them? Could y'all imagine?
And get some
Absolutely.
good senators in place.
Yeah, we need the Illinois.
Yes.
We need the Illinois GOP to help us, guys. Seriously.
Republican senators yet? Anybody came out as a Republican voting? I know Tyrone Muhammad is running for U.S. Senator, independent. So, but yeah, we got to get it's a clean red wave, a red wave.
That's all hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
So,
you gonna run?
So the more
I'll see, guys. I'll see.
We're up to that point. But the moral of the story is flip Chicago red.
Yeah, we definitely gotta make Chicago go red, guys.
Play with Chicago again.
Ever.
I know that's right. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys.
You better run for office.
I'll see, man. I gotta get a little bit more. Just gotta get a little bit more. Okay. Okay. All right. So we got my main man here,
Jay.
We got Jay here, and tell me, how do you feel about Donald Trump right now? How he's doing as president?
I think Donald Trump is doing a great job.
Doing a good job.
He's doing an all right job. He's doing awesome.
Okay, so I see you got a book here, man. Explain your manga. What's that, a manga or a book there?
This is a novel. It's called A Black Wolf of Chicago. It's a superhero all about Chicago, and the storyline is based off of Chicago. Chicago is a city that never had a superhero or never had nothing that we can look up to, so therefore the Black Wolf of Chicago is the poster child and the mascot of Chicago. I believe every city should have their own mascot and poster child, and Chicago very apparently have one in the Black Wolf of Chicago. It's a good storyline. It's all based about Chicago. It's all for Chicago, and I think everybody in Chicago will enjoy this book if they pick it up and they will read it. The storyline is authentic. I'm originally from Chicago. I'm officially from Chicago, so I'm your homegrown Chicagoan, and they made this book for the city and for the city.
Yeah, man, he looks very, very interesting. And look, you look like you're gonna be giving DC and Marvel a run for their money, man.
Oh, I'm planning to blow Marvel out the water.
Yeah, they suck right now, for sure.
Marvel suck right
yeah,
now.
for sure. And this, can you explain this character right here? Can you bring up?
This is the first female vigilante from Chicago by the name of Tauntaun the Blonde Bombshell. She actually comes in at the end of the storyline, the cleanup crew.
Yeah, she look like she packing heat too, man. And yeah. Okay, and last but not least, where can they find your material?
Oh, you can find it online on Amazon and Kindle. You can also find it at Cracker Comics on Madison Estate, and you can actually find it at Quimby Comics on Chicago Avenue and Clark.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, man, like, I know I'm gonna be checking it out, guys, and I hope you guys do too, man. Thank you so much, bro, for doing this for Chicago. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Chicago legend. We have Mr. Blakemore, aka the 51st Alderman of Chicago. He's also an artist as well. How you feeling today, Mr. Blakemore?
Old and tired.
Old and tired, man.
Yes, I'm sick and tired of what's going on down in City Hall, and that's why I came out here to make a difference and change, because we can't continue to do the same, and we had go red, flip red, but we definitely cannot stay blue with the machine.
Right.
And this is a historical landmark here in the city, and we need to restore this landmark. And a lot of my artwork today was dealing with circles. So just a simple circle, and that's like the cycle of life. And that I noticed on this also a mirror here, they have Josephine Baker, a lot of our outstanding entertainers that they performed at this Riga Theater. Yeah. And around here, I want you to see right here.
Oh, we moving, guys, we moving.
I want you to see that this is a circle right here. Circle. I decided to dedicate some of my work here with just a plain circle. The difference that you make, it might be just a little drop in the ocean, but every little drop counts. So I'm glad to see you, and I hope that you continue to make this difference.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Mr. Blakemore. We appreciate everything that you do.
Well, I appreciate you all because you all are a product of the ancestors. So we've been here since the beginning of time, and we're gonna continue to be here. The cycle of life, but I think that you all might not feel like you're making a difference, but you are making a difference. And sometimes you might not see the difference, but the generations behind you will. So I'm glad to see that you're still in the struggle. I'm glad that all of you are here, and we're gonna continue to do what we have to do. And I'm glad to see you still active too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore.
Yeah, and thank you for being consistent. But this is not an easy task to change one mindset. So you've been doing something so long, but when you know better, you try to do better. And so you all know better, and you're doing better. But I don't want you to give up, to give out. Don't do that. Be consistent, because if you just touch several people or one, that you're a success. Don't ever let nobody tell you that you're a failure, because history shows us that we've been here and we're gonna do better. But change is not instant. We have to educate our people, we got to inform our people, and we have to rewrite our history. You all are dedicated to try to make a difference. And thank you for having me to come out here. I was hoping that things would be a little different with display and sales. So we all have to keep hope alive.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blakemore.
Thank you.
You have a good one. That's all we got now, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Got a lot of takes out here today. We got a lot of good points. And I believe Miss Latanya, she gave out that fabulous check to Flip Red when it comes to them just doing an absolutely superb job when it comes to them holding the Democrats responsible for everything. When it comes to the city of Chicago, they've definitely been being held accountable by Flip Red, so I got to give props when due, guys. So, hey, just hoping for the best for everyone out here, and I will see you guys next time, and I am out of here. Peace.